So what did they call you?
Common Moose from Tulare County.
What are you incarcerated for, and how long is your sentence?
I'm incarcerated for carjacking and gun enhancement. They gave me 13 years.
And where you from out here on the streets?
I'm from Tulare County, a city called Farmersville, California.
Do you or did you at any point in time in your life belong to any type of gangs, groups, organizations?
Yep, I'm an ex-Nathaniel.
Most definitely, man. Isaac, man, I sincerely appreciate you, man. You taking the time and wanting to share your story on this platform. Just know that it's an open platform, sir. So you can literally talk about whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. The only thing I'll edit out was cuss words, man. But just know to feel free to be able to open up about whatever, man. This is your story. This is your video, bro. So just know that, all right?
It's all good.
So Isaac, man, tell me about your upbringing, man. What was it like growing up over there? Is that Central California or is that Northern California already?
Central California, in between Fresno County and Kern County.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I grew up pretty rough as a young child. My mom was incarcerated and my dad was incarcerated. We grew up in low poverty. My family is all in gangs doing drugs. My brothers were in and out the system as well. And yeah, it was pretty bad. The cops always at my mom's house. Gang members always at my mom's house. Yeah, I grew up pretty rough.
Can you tell me about the different neighborhoods that are in your city? Who do you guys get along with and who do you guys not get along with?
Basically, there's only one hood in my and one within the gang in my town, which is formed of VSC, and we don't get along with the Southerners, the Asians, and some blacks. Stuff of that nature.
So what do you say you're incarcerated for, man?
I'm incarcerated for gun enhancement and carjacking. They give me 13
How much did
years.
they give you on the gun enhancement?
They gave me 10 on the gun enhancement and 3 on the carjacking.
Whoa, you mean to tell me that they gave you way more time just for the gun alone than the carjacking? I think that the carjacking would be more severe than carrying the firearm.
Yeah, me too. But I don't know. The system operates kind of weird, and what's the crazy part about it is that they didn't even find no weapon. You know,
they didn't find no weapon. How were they able to charge you?
Nah, they still give me basically hearsay, she said. All right. So it started. It started off by I was chilling at my mom's house one day, and I was already angry because I got into a little argument with my girl. So I was at my mom's house chilling, and my sister shows up, and she was like, "Hey brother, what you doing right now?" I'm like, "Nothing. Like I'm just chilling." And she's like, "Could you go with me to get my items from my man's house, my ex's house?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, we can do that." So we drove to her. She's like, "We're gonna go pick up my baby daddy, though." I'm like, "Sure, yeah, let's go." So we went to go pick up her baby daddy. So we're waiting for her to pick up her baby daddy, and he ended up getting there. So we're like, "All right, let's go." So we went to.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
So we ended up going to her boyfriend's house in the morning. So So we pull up, and we all get. She's like, stay in the car. So she gets off the car, and I'm like, all right. And I'm like, nah, what that? If he's hitting you, I'm gonna get out the car too. So I get out the car, and I told Big Daddy, stay in the car. So we as I was walking towards, she was talking to him already. She was already talking to him. So as I was walking towards him, he had something like, I don't know what it was. He had something behind his back. So I'm like, what the hell? What's this dude doing? So at the same time, I had like a little CO2 pellet gun on me. So I'm like, all right. I pulled it out, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Like, why you have your hands behind your back? So I pointed at him, and then and at that time I'm like, man, I already got this guy dude by gunpoint. I might as well go with the yeah. You ready?
Yes, sir.
So yeah. So basically, I had him by gunpoint. So in my mind, I'm like, I might as well keep going with it because I already got him by gunpoint. So I had him by gunpoint, and when I was telling him like, hey, we're just here to pick up my sister's shit, and then we're out of here. But he kept like telling me stuff in Spanish. So I'm like, what the hell? So her baby daddy ends up getting out of the car, and they're walking up the stairs, and I just see her baby daddy sock him in his head, and he fell in the jacuzzi. And I'm like, what the? And somebody popped out of the door because there was two people living there. It was her baby daddy and his roommate. He popped out of the door, and he ended up socking my sister. So I'm like, what the? So I end up hitting him with his pellet gun, bam, and he falls. And I'm like, oh. And then I was like, oh, I got him by gunpoint too, and I grabbed this dude out, and I was like, go get on the dirt. So they all sat in the dirt, and I just had him by gunpoint. And my sister was in there getting all her items and whatnot, and she kept taking stuff that actually wasn't hers. She was just taking more than what she was supposed to. So after all that, my sister's baby daddy tried to hit him with like I don't know what it was. I think it was like a hole, and I'm just like, what the? So he tried to hit him with the hole, but I'm just like, nah, leave him alone, like he's already bleeding and whatnot. He's already, he's not doing no harm to us, so they just go. So we end up getting in the car and taking off. So we end up going to my sister's baby daddy's house, and we're just chilling and whatnot. And then how I end up getting incarcerated is like the next day. I ended up turning myself in because I had a warrant out for my arrest from when I got a CYA. I ended up having a warrant when I got a CYA, but I didn't know that my sister's man called the cops on us. So I turned myself in, and they read me all these. They're like, oh, the cops are like, oh, you're going to Kings County jail, and I was like, what the for what? And they're like, your PO wants you to do it. I'm like, but my warrant's here in Tulare County, but I didn't know I had another warrant out there in Kings County. So I ended up going to Kings County jail, and that's when I found out I had all kinds of charges. Basically, a home invasion.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Gang enhancement, gun enhancement, home invasion, terrorist threats, robbery, and all whatnot.
How did that make you feel? And was it nerve-wracking when you got to find out exactly how much time each of these charges carry?
I felt kind of upset because, like, I just got out of doing 3 years in CYA. It kind of got me upset, but at the same time, I'm about my family, and I'll do anything in the world for my family because I love my family. So it was for my sister, and I'll do anything for my sister and my family. So yeah, it kind of makes me feel upset, but at the same time, I'll do anything for my family.
So why are you carrying guns to begin with, man?
Honestly, I just grew up around them. Like I said, my mom was in gangs and my dad was in gangs, and they used to carry pistols. My brothers, they're homies, so that they basically introduced me to guns, and that's how it came around. And I also have why I carry them is because I have a lot of gang tattoos on my face, and I ain't trying to die young.
What exactly do you have on your face?
I have multiple tattoos. I have Vario on my right eyebrow. I have a Norteño syllable, a Huerga bird. I have a F below my right eye. I have big 4 dots on my left cheek. And I got GK on the right side of my temple. And I got north side behind my head.
What compelled you to get all these tattoos, man? And do you regret them, honestly?
Honestly, I was young and I was just gangbang out. I don't know. And I honestly regret them now that I'm older now. Because I won't be able to get a job and there's not too many opportunities for me because I have all these gang tattoos on my face.
What was your mom's reaction when you would get these tattoos, when she's seen these tattoos on your face?
So my first tattoo on my face was actually a little X, and she just like, don't be getting no more tattoos on your face. She was kind of upset, but once I got these 4 dots, they're kind of big. They're like dime-sized 4 dots, and man, it was the end of the world. She was trying to kill me. She like, you better take those off your face, and she was trying to get a little trees grater to take them off herself. But she was upset.
So how much time did your sister end up getting it? How much time did you get?
My sister ended up getting 3 or 4 doubled up because she had prison priors, and then I ended up getting 13 years.
Damn, 13 years real quick, and it just with the drop of a hat.
Yeah. But luckily, I'm already basically done with this time. I'm already going downhill. I've been down since 2017, and I'm hoping I go home 2026.
So you hit the county. What are the politics like? Do you get approached right away? Is there some type of code of conduct that you must abide by? How does that work?
Okay. Actually, I was hoping I would have went to my county jail, but I ended up going to Kings County. So as I got there, they were on me as soon as possible because I got all these gang tattoos and I got this got bird on my face, and the cops are like, what? Like, basically tripping. Like, we never seen basically nobody with that on their face. So I got there. There's some over there in county jail in Kings County. There's some called classification. Classification came to talk to me, and they're like, hey man, like basically.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Basically, like, we don't want no problems in here. Like, our county jails ran smooth. We understand that you came from another county, and we want to run a smooth program. So I was like, all right. They're trying to put me in the hole at first. So, but they actually let me go to the GP pod. So I went to the pod. When you get to the pod for the Norteño gang movement, they automatically SB to your cell. SB means two dudes will come behind you and escort you wherever you're going because you're a new arrival, and they want to see who you are, and what charges you're basically in there for. So the SBs came and they SB'd me to my cell. They got my paperwork, and then from there they send they give you questionnaires on who you are, where you're from, what county you're from, what hood you're from, how old are you, what's your date of birth, what tattoos do you got, where's all the scars on your body, how tall are you, how much you weigh, and then you write it down on a they call it a I don't know, I forgot what they call it, but you have to write it down a little one time, and a one time is a WELA basically, and you write all your information down and you give it to them, and they'll fully clear you. From there, or you'll go partial, and then they'll send the one time to another building to make sure you're good and you're not on bad terms with their people. From there, they'll fully clear you, and then you basically participate in their movement, and their movement is working out education on who they are, what they're about, stuff in that nature.
What was your reaction to such protocol? Is that something that you had already anticipated, or did that come to a surprise?
Honestly, I kind of already knew, what they're about because my brothers were incarcerated, and I already knew what to expect as I went in there. But at the same time, when I was released from CYA, they released me to a county jail because I was already an adult. So I kind of already knew what to expect, but I was only in county jail for like a day or two, so I already knew what to expect and what they want from you and stuff like that.
So, which is the first prison that you landed at?
The first prison I landed at was reception in Tracy.
And where'd you go after that?
From there, I went to Solano, level 3. And then from Solano, level 3, I ended up going down to the 2-yard because Norteños needed more manpower. From there, I ended up going to Susanville. And from Susanville, I got removed. And they ended up sending me to Corcoran.
How does one get word that there's a need of Norteños at a certain prison? Like, how do you get word of that?
Basically, we have, just go around, honestly. People would just be like, we need more manpower, basically.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
They'll basically write a one-time regarding, I need more manpower. And for Norteños, everybody sees filters that go out. So basically, I've seen it on the filter saying that they need more manpower at certain prisons and they need more Norteños there. So that's how I figured it out, that they needed more manpower in the level 2.
And then you get there, and what's to expect?
So when you get to a prison, they expect you basically to carry yourself in a proper manner, such as being on your triple A's, in which that means be awake, aware, and alert at all times. Work out, be on your P's and Q's, basically. Basically.
Go tell link.
Hello?
Hello?
So you say you ended
All
up
right.
getting removed or taken off the yard. Why? What was it that happened?
So how I ended up getting removed, basically, it started off in Solano level 2. I was, me and a few of my homies, we decided to make a batch of alcohol. So we made a batch of alcohol. We got so drunk. We got so drunk out of our minds. I just remember going out to the day room, and there's the group segments out there, because in a level 2 it's dorm living. So I remember sitting at a table, and this other was drinking with us, and I remember he was telling one of my homies, "Hey, like, you guys' movement ain't nothing. Like, you guys ain't nothing." So me, I was drunk. I ended up getting angry about it, and I told him, like, "You ain't nothing. Like, I'll come to my dorm. Like, I'll stab you." So I ended up going on freeze for that. Because one of my homies they ended up going telling my channel, and my channel he ended up going telling his channel, and they put me on freeze for that. So I went on freeze for that. That was my first incident, and they gave me a pass. They gave me a 2-week DP. A DP is when you have to work out and do burpees and whatnot, do push-ups and burpees, running the track. So I got that. The second incident occurred when I ended up buying a cell phone without telling my homies. I ended up buying a cell phone, and I wasn't supposed to, because they basically put me on LOP for the first incident, and I had nothing coming. I wasn't supposed to do no drugs, smoke, do nothing, buy no phones, nothing. But me, I ended up being a little knucklehead, and I ended up going behind their back and buying a phone. So I bought a phone. And I had it for a few months, and I ended up getting caught with it. So when I got caught with it, my homies are like, "Whose phone was that? You weren't even supposed to be using one." And I was like, "That was my phone. Like, honestly, that was my phone. I don't owe nobody. That was my phone." So they're like, "Okay, you weren't supposed to have a phone." Boom, they put me back on freeze, and they ended up giving me another pass. So I ended up buying another phone again, and that time they ended up finding out quicker, because my bunkie told them about it, like, "Oh, he has another phone." So they end up coming and taking that phone away from me, and basically like, "Hey, you ain't getting your money back for it." So I'm like, "Okay, boom." So I went out of my way, and one of my homies were basically one of the drug plugs in that facility. So I ended up telling them, like, "Hey, give me some, because I'm leaving," and I was getting transferred to another prison at that time. Because I ended up picking more points up. So I ended up telling them to give me some, but I never paid him. So they're like, "Hey, why aren't you paying him?" And I'm like, "Because he can go take that phone you guys took, and that's the payment." So
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
So they ended up calling that, and I was racking up a debt. Bam. They ended up calling that racking up a debt. So they decided to give me frontline status. Frontline status is when anything pops up, an incident, and an incident means like the next person to get stabbed, I'm gonna have to do it because I got frontline status. So they ended up giving me frontline status, and I ended up leaving to another prison. So I get to my other prison, and I was at Susanville, CCC, and I ended up getting there. So I still have, remind you, I'm still on LOP, because when I told the other I was in asylum. So I get there, and then I end up selling, and I wasn't supposed to. And they're like, "Do you got anything on you?" And I lied to them. I was like, "No, I don't got nothing on me." So I ended up selling, and I was getting hella stuff. And they're like, "Where are you getting all this stuff from?" And I ended up lying to them. And then I ended up lying to them about what I had. and they let it slide, and they end up threatening my celly, like, hey, we're going to remove you if you don't tell us what he's doing, like what he's doing. So my celly ends up telling him, like, yeah, he came with hella weed, and he's been drinking a lot. So they end up moving me out of my celly cell, and they moved me with another homie of mine. Boom. I moved to his cell, and I was doing cool. They're trying to give me another chance, so I was doing cool. And I had essays, 2 weeks with the essays, 1,000-word essay for my DP. So I ended up getting caught with it because I came back from work one morning and I was tired because I used to be a cook and I used to go in at 3 in the morning. So I ended up getting caught with my essays, and I reported it to my channel, and my channel's like, look, you shouldn't report it. And I was like, why not? He's like, because they're gonna trip off you if we report it. And I was like, but I want to report it because if I don't, and they find out, it's gonna be bad for me. And he goes, nah, don't report it. So I ended up didn't report it. He didn't say nothing about it, so I was like, all right, I'll just move with the flow. And the gang unit ends up hitting my cell, and the channel of that yard ends up going telling IGA, like, hey, the gang ends up going telling the gang unit, hey, why'd you hit his cell? And they're like, because we found his essays a one time on him. And my homies are like, what the, like, why did he report it? And my channel didn't report it to them, so it ended up causing a little issue. So the next morning, I ended up going to work, and I ended up getting off work, and I ended up going to yard. So I do my DP, bam, I do my 500 burpees, I run my laps. And they end up telling me, like, hey, let's play some basketball. And I was like, all right, let's go. So I played basketball game, bam. They're like, hey, let's play some baseball. I was like, all right, cool, yeah, hell yeah. I ended up playing baseball, bam. And then out of nowhere, they're like, hey, Moose, we need you to work. And the thing was, they have little, on the yard, they have their little yard channels. They have their YPs, they have their OPs, which is people that get the head count of their all group segments and what's on the yard, like weapons are on the yard and whatnot. So I end up working. I end up being an OP at that time. So I'm pushing the track, and I'm doing whatever I'm doing, and then the person I'm walking with, he's like, hey, Moose, let's go to our little table real quick, because Nathaniel's had their own table in the yard as well. So I'm like, all right. So we call it the hood. So I end up going to the hood, and as I think about it, the code word was, I have a visit, but I didn't realize it. So I'm like, okay. So I ended up going to the hood, and he was like, okay. Hey, I was like, hey, so you're going to go to your visit? He goes, nah, they want me to keep working.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I'm like, all right, cool. But I wasn't thinking nothing of it. So we ended up going back, and we started walking. As we were walking down the track, and I don't know, something like, I see something through my peripheral, but I thought it was somebody, because they all be working out, running laps. So I ended up stepping aside. As soon as I stepped to the side, I felt like somebody hit me from the side. Bam! And I turn around, and I look, and I see two people, like, two Nathaniels, like, trying to stab me. So they started stabbing me, and I tried to, like, swing. And but at the same time, I was trying to, like, backpedal hella fast, so I was trying to get away from them. I was backpedaling. I ended up getting, like, between, like, two gates, and then CCI, there's, like, a little native thing and another gate, so I ended up going there, and I ended up getting trapped, and I didn't see nobody. I wasn't looking behind me because I was trying to focus on who was stabbing me, so I didn't realize people were behind me, so somebody came from behind me and grabbed me and slammed me from behind. So from there, these fools got on top of me, and they just started stabbing me. Bam, they stabbed me 26 times. So when they're stabbing me, bam, bam, I was trying to kick them off me, like, get off. So I was picking them, and they kept stabbing me in my legs. I ended up getting up and walking away. As soon as I walked away, the cops were like, get down. So I ended up getting down, bam. And as I was getting down, there was so much blood everywhere. Like, it was crazy. Like, I was leaking so bad. I thought I was honestly going to die. because there's so much blood everywhere. And I was like, dang, I couldn't breathe because they threw bombs and they sprayed everything. So I was just leaking bad. So I was laying there and I was like, hey, I need help. I was telling the cops like I need help. But I guess it's protocol. They have to send send a perimeter line to make sure the inmates don't get back up, and So they're sending a perimeter line, and they weren't like I was just leaking. I was bleeding so bad it was bad, and I was just trying to like calm myself down and breathe good. So bam, I see a cop run towards me and he'll say like help him, like he's bleeding bad, like help him. So bam, they ran towards me. I remember him ripping open the nurse's bag, bam, and then he was putting hella patching me up with like bandages. I don't know what it was, but he ended up putting patches on me. And I remember him wrapping the nurse wrapping a gauze around my head because I got stabbed in the head too, and they had to I got stabbed in the head. So from there, they threw me in the ambulance, and they ended up taking me to Susanville Hospital. And I was in the ambulance, just like going through it, like dang, like that shit, like it was bad, like I was hurting, and so I get to Susanville Hospital, the ER, and then from there they stitched me up. They started they actually ran me through a CAT scan because they didn't know what was wrong with me. They punctured a lung, like they didn't know what was wrong with me, so they ran me through the CAT scan. They ended up taking me back to the emergency room, stitching me up. From there, they end up stitching me up from there, and I remember seeing 3 people walk in, and they had like a little body dagger, and I was like, what's that? Like in my mind, I'm like, what is that? So I seen them walk in, and they're like, yeah, is he ready? I'm like, what? And on my mind, I'm like, what? Am I gonna die? I'm like, I was tripping, like, am I gonna die? Bam, they put me in a body bag, like a little body bag, but I didn't realize that the pilots, at that time, there was a lot of wildfires in Paradise and whatnot over there in Northern California. There was a lot of wildfires, so they couldn't land a helicopter on the yard because they air flighted me. So I was tripping out, and they ended up throwing me in the ambulance, and they ended up taking me to an airport. From there, they put me in an airplane, and they put me in an airplane, and they flew me from Susanville to Reno's hospital. So I get to Reno's hospital, and then they're like, something's wrong with your heart. Like we see a lot of liquid around your heart, so that's why we air flighted you over here. So I was like, oh dang, like that's pretty bad. So they end up air flighting me to Reno's hospital, and I get there and they do that CAT scan, and they're like, oh, I was in the ICU for like a week because they're trying to figure out what was going on with me. They end up lowering me levels, bam. So once I got lower levels, I knew I was good, but I was in the hospital for almost 3 weeks. So I ended up getting released from the hospital, and they ended up taking me to back to Susanville's prison, where they have a little hospital there as well. I was in their hospital, and then the gang ended up coming back to me and like, hey, do you want to go back to their movement and go back to the yard? And I was just like, nah, I'm cool. I'm good. Like, they just stabbed me 26 times. I'm good off that. Like, I felt betrayed, and yeah, so that's when my career ended right there.
How did that make you feel, man?
You have 60 seconds remaining.
I kind of feel how it makes me feel. I feel betrayed, but at the same time, kind of hurt too, because that's all I knew. That's all I knew as I was growing up, and I felt like I let my brothers down because they're the ones that brought me up from my hood, and like it hurt. Like I didn't want to let them down, and man, because they basically brought me from my hood, and I kind of hurt, and I feel betrayed at the same time because they stabbed me for some dumbass stuff, you know?
Hey, bro, can you call me back? What advice do you have for anybody out there who's thinking about putting it down or sacrificing themselves for the cause, for the movement?
Man, honestly, like, I would tell them, like, think twice before you join the movement or anything, even if it's Norteños, Sureños, blacks. Just think twice because life is good. Like, now that I look at it in a different perspective that I'm on this side, like, I look at it in a different perspective because when things do you so dirty, like they do you so foul, like they want you to, and you're basically like messing up your life just because you want to be in their little gang and do their politics and whatnot. So I advise them, don't do it. Like, think twice. Like, twice before you join the gang, because that's not a life to live.
You know, I sincerely appreciate you for taking the time and sharing your story, Isaac, man. I hope you a lot of success in your future.